G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. This is on the brand new patch, and as you can see we've got a couple of new features already hitting you guys nice and hard early on in this game. First and foremost, we've got brand new colors. Second of all, we have got a brand new camera angle. So I want you guys to let me know what you think about this new camera angle. Personally, I love it. I think it's fantastic. But I want to know what you guys think as well, because obviously we're going to be casting a lot of games. Some people are going to love this camera angle. Some people are going to prefer the old one. I want to know what you guys think. But let's talk a little bit about what we've got going on today. So spawning in over on the west side of the map, playing in the color orange as the Abbasid dynasty, we've got Kiljadi. His opponent who spawns on the opposite side of the map, playing in the yellow on the Chinese, we've got Beastie. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the brand new map called The Pit. It is called The Pit not because it looks like an arm, but because it has a pit in the center. Take a look at that bad boy right there. So obviously you got the sacred site in there, you got the nice big juicy gold veins in the middle as well. A little bit difficult to wall off this map, though. This is quite an open map, and I think a lot of people would have come into this game thinking, you know, the pit, it's a bit of an easy map to wall off. Well, hold on a minute. It's not that easy to wall off. Look how big that is. It ain't going to be a simple palisade wall that keeps you safe on this one. That is for sure. It is a very interesting map, but I mean, other than that, we've got some little corner nooks. You can see this right here with the large gold vein and a small stone outcropping on the same side, or on the opposite side rather. You've got the same thing, so it is mirrored, and then in the other corners you've got the trading post as well as a large stone outcropping as well. So very nice mirror map, and I gotta say, I love mirror maps. I think it makes so much more sense to have maps played out like this, because look, it's almost like a little bit of a blend between Age of Empires style with its procedurally generated maps, and then your sort of StarCraft map, which is just a standard map that you're always going to get the same, you know, if you queue up on that map another 2 or 3 times, you're always going to be getting that same map. And so I think it makes a lot of sense in Age of Empires 4 to have that, because it limits the RNG that you're going to have. But speaking of RNG, let's talk a little bit about what Beastie is doing, what he's up to, because he's playing on the Chinese, and as you guys will know, the Chinese have received a whole suite of changes in the most recent patch. I'm not going to say buffs, I'm not going to say nerfs. All I'm going to say is that they have been pretty much redesigned. So basically, the good old days of China used to be that you would just pretty much just chill out for the most part, try and get to Imperial, and look to get to Bombards. That was pretty much your China play. It was one-dimensional. I mean, there were times that you could play a feudal or even a castle age China, but typically you were ill-advised if you were going to be doing that. It was always best to sort of wait for that Imperial, wait for that 20-25 minute mark, and then look to get towards that Imperial age. But with the new changes to China, one of the big things that we're going to be seeing is players looking to go for an Imperial Academy early. So I wouldn't be surprised. Beastie's got a nice little spot down here for his Imperial Academy. Should be able to hit everything, actually. I think about 1 tile down from the town center. Otherwise, he can look to try and put it towards the back here and pick up all of this wood line. Now, keep in mind, on this map, there are beautiful wood lines. I don't even think you can select the trees anymore. They've changed the way that trees select, so you can't select the trees anymore. But a beautiful wood line back here. He's got plenty of space and is going to be looking to age up, and it is going to be that Imperial Academy that's on the back line. So one of the biggest changes that they've made to the Chinese here is that you can now train Imperial officials from your Imperial Academy. Now, on one hand, you'd look at that and say that's an absolutely insane buff, and on the other hand, you'd say, well, it's a small buff, but let's see exactly how much it actually changes the things, because the reality is, to be honest, I don't think it's a small buff. I actually think it's an absolutely huge buff. And when you factor it into everything else, so, you know, typically China, they want to make 4 Imperial officials. You can see Beastie's already got 1. That means he's got 3 left that he needs to make, which is going to take him 60 seconds to do that. Now, you know, the average player would look at that and say, well, 60 seconds to make his Imperial officials, that's going to cost him 3 villages, because each villager takes 20 seconds. Well, that's true until you reach Song Dynasty. And once you reach Song Dynasty, your villagers take 13 seconds. And now, all of a sudden, instead of it being a 3 villager disadvantage that you've now got a 4.5 villager disadvantage. So it really starts to add up. And by doing this, by having the Imperial official here, basically gives China an extra 4.5 villagers in the early game, which is massive. When you think about it, you know, that's 4.5 villagers that you're going to have extra. And in addition to that, that looked like the shift click bug. That looked like a shift click bug right there. Oh, it's still in the game. I knew it. They said they fixed it. I knew it. I knew that they couldn't fix that bug. The technology's not here. Not in 2022. 2024, maybe they'll fix the bug. Until then, and you can see Beastie did eventually pick it up. So one of the other big things to note is Imperial officials. These guys are suicidal. They love to die. So very typically, you know, you might be getting attacked from this angle, and the Imperial official will be like, yeah, I think I'm going to go grab that. I think I'm going to go grab the tax that's in the mining camp out there, where the enemy military units are, and it will go and die. And so that will mean you'll need to then train another Imperial official from your town center, which is subsequently making you lose 1.5 villagers. Well, the good news is now you can just train it from your Imperial Academy. So it basically works as a second town center, almost like a pseudo town center, basically. So I think it's a super cool change for China. It's going to help them out a lot, especially if there's aggression that they have to deal with early. But now we see Beastie looking to add in the Barbican of the Sun. Good little timing here. Also going to be going for the mining camp. Looking to get down a second town center. Going to be going up against Killjadi on the 1 TC so far. Killjadi known for his all-ins. A little bit like GUA 2.0, really. So we do see he's gone for the economic wing here, indicated by the large dome. But he's also gone heavy on the military buildings at this point in time. Scouts are out on the map. He's looking, he's scouting out exactly what Beastie is up to. He's looking for that stone. He's going to spot it, sees the villagers on there, and he knows exactly how much stone has been gathered. Now, keep in mind, actually, this is something to note. There's only 1,200 stone on these bad boys. So I saw the 1160, and I'm like, oh, damn, Beastie's taken a lot off that. No, he hasn't. He's only just started, so it's going to be 900 that you're scouting for now. We can see the Barbican of the Sun going to be firing down upon that scout, and I love the new animation coming out from the Barbican as well. So for anyone who didn't see that, there was a little bit of a delay in that Barbican coming out, the Barbican shot. It kind of looks like the cannon emplacements, the way that they shoot out. But now Beastie going to be under attack as Killjadi begins to move out across the map with his horsemen. So the horsemen are going to be heading towards what looks to be the north side of the map. You can see there's triple horsemen out already. We've yet to see him really do much damage. But the scout not really in a good position here to spot out those villagers. We do see a stable is going to be coming down from Beastie as a response here. I'm going to make sure that I zoom out to max. It can look a little bit deceptive when I'm sitting down here in the sacred site. I get a little bit confused, but I think before you guys make your minds up about this camera, I want to just remind you, it's going to take time for you to get used to it. Even if you like it at this point, it's still going to take time for you to get used to it. The reality is you can actually see more with this camera than what you can with the other one. And so I do think it is better, at least for us Chinese players. I don't know about everybody else, because you can see right there that if we center it there, we're still missing a fair bit of that line of sight because we're in Age 2. But in Age 1, you are able to see absolutely everything there. Scout going to be forced back away from Beastie as well. But Killjadi, he's opened up with a bit of aggression at these early stage in the game. Very heavy on wood here as well. Now, keep in mind, playing as the Abbasid, he's going to have access to those rams for free. So he doesn't necessarily have to go for a blacksmith to get that siege engineering out and look to get some of those down. So he does have archers moving forward. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some early battering rams coming out. Scout in a great position here. Going to be able to force Beastie off this mill. If he comes around, he's got the camel archer and a couple of horsemen. It's going to be tough fighting underneath that town center, but the archers should be able to do it from this angle here. So we'll wait and see how he does it. Beastie on the other side, still yet to go up with that second town center just yet. Scout might get taken out. Indeed it does. And he continues to hold on at this point in time. Does have the blacksmith that's come down. +1's going to be coming through for him. So looking to get that +2, or I should say probably +3 ranged armor, because you can see he's already got that too. Keep in mind the horseman has been buffed up in the most recent patch as well. So previously, the way that it worked was the horseman got 1 armor in Age 1, and then 2 armor in Age 2, 3, and 4. That was it. That was its base stats. But now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, which means in Castle Age it gets 3 armor, and Imperial Age it gets 4 armor. Obviously that coincides with its respective upgrades as well. I don't think it gets those for free. But now we can see some archers over on that north side. Going to be picking off those villagers, forcing them back. Doesn't look like any villagers were lost here today. Still yet to grab that textile upgrade. Going to be so careful here. But we do see an outpost also coming up for Killjadi. Interesting to note, still no second town center, but this is what you would expect from Killjadi. Loves to play this one base sort of style, and interestingly likes to do it on the Abbasid, a civilization that isn't typically known for their one base. Moves in, going to be able to pick off the first villager. Second villager almost gets picked off as well. Imperial officials still just absolutely fearless, supervising that mill. Now moving out, Beastie going to be looking to try and take a bit of an engagement. A lot of units out here for his enemy. He's going to be forced back here. And it's interesting to note how close these colors are. You know, obviously we talked about red and blue a lot, and the fact that you couldn't choose your colors, but now I think we've got a bit more of a difficult situation where, because players have got their players have got colors or options that are so close to each other, you know, your pinks, your reds, your orange, your yellow, it gets a little bit difficult to tell the difference between the two. I think on the minimap it looks quite fine, you can really see the difference, but once they start getting into those fights, it can be a little bit difficult to draw the differences. But now, Villager, as well as Imperial Official, going to be under attack. Imperial Official going to get targeted down, but remember, we talked about this earlier. In the event that it goes down, Beastie easily able to replace it with the Imperial Academy, so not as much of a threat as it used to be. Obviously, it's a lot of resources, 150 that go down, but now Beastie, once again, going to be falling back away from this army. Still a lot of units here from him, or from his enemy. Second town center is up for Beastie. He's got the hunt out here, as well as the mill. Going to be supervised down here by the Imperial Official. Manages to hold on, and now in the center of the map, it looks like the scout is moving out. I think Beastie might be checking for a second town center. He just wants to make sure that there's no fake out that's happening here, that his enemy is really committing to this Age 2 aggression. And that's going to tell Beastie that he cannot go H3. Because Beastie really wants to go H3 as China wants to try and get to those nest of bees. Wants to try and get that astronomical clock tower out as soon as possible. But he knows he's not going to be able to do it here. He's looking for that second town center. We can see, and he's going to be able to loop around the back here. Eventually find the stone and have these confirmation received horsemen over on that south side of the base. Going to begin attacking. We see a pretty decent wall coming down from Beastie. A lot of villagers moving out, as well as a wolf in the mix as well. Villager probably going to be going down. Indeed it does. Horseman moving out to cover. Beastie comes around the back of the base, does spot that the stone outcropping has just begun getting gathered. But now in the middle of the map, double battering rams moving in for Kiljati. So we talked about this a little bit earlier, the fact that our Abbasid player isn't going to have to research siege engineering. They're not going to have to make the blacksmith if they don't want to get those bad boys out, and they begin working their way down. Beastie now going to be turning his attention towards those blacksmiths, those battering rams. Instead, doing a little bit of a run by, heading straight towards those archers. Keep in mind, he gets that double damage on those archers. Gets a decent little surround here. So all of these horsemen that are back here only going to be dealing 9 damage. The horsemen that are out here are going to be dealing 18 damage. So you want to be making sure that they are tapping on the enemies. Well, I take that back. They've actually got a little bit of a damage negative multiplier there, but still getting some decent trades here. Manages to take out a lot of the ranged units, but at the same time, the battering rams remain. No villagers yet to be pulled. Imperial officials just standing by, holding out for the moment, and Beastie going to be supervising up absolutely everything. You can see right there, he's got both of these guys supervising out non-stop units towards his front side. Manages to get some pretty decent trades in there. Loses a fair bit of units, but at the same time keeps himself above water. And now he's got to focus down these battering rams. That's going to be the big issue. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a villager pull here. Doesn't have a lot of villagers nearby though. And we can see the villagers might be moving in now. It's far away. Things not looking good right now for Beastie. He's going to be trying to hold on. Horseman going to be able to make it down towards those archers. Ideally, you'd love to see the archers jump inside the battering rams, but then there's nothing to protect the battering rams at all. So it's very difficult right now for Kiljati, just not mixing in enough spears to deal with these horsemen. I think that's one of the beautiful things about China and the way that they've got the ability to do this. 2 stables come down and he supervises them, the equivalent of 5 stables. So you're basically saving yourself 450 wood there by not having to build those 3 stables. So really, really cool. And this is all enabled by the fact that you can go with the Imperial Academy, get this bad boy out nice and early. Villagers is going to be coming in, going to be finishing off that battering ram, but this really changes the way that China plays, because now they've got a lot more flexibility at the early stage of the game. Because before, it was all about worrying about your Imperial officials and wondering, when do I fit them in? Do I get them before Song Dynasty? Do I get them after Song Dynasty? If I'm going to get them before, how long do I wait for Song Dynasty? There's a lot of thoughts that need to go in, but this really streamlines the way that China plays now. And you don't it's not as complex as it used to be. Sure, there's going to be builds that are different for China, but the reality is, this really changes China and it makes it so much stronger because you can rely on your Imperial Academy. So I think this is such a great change. The new China is looking absolutely amazing. Insufficient wood coming up, a rare thing that you often, or that you rarely hear around Beastie. But a little bit of a counterattack going to be coming now. Beastie, instead of turning his attention towards that outpost that's got the arrow slits in it, is just going to be doing a bit of a run by heading down towards the gold mine. Does spot out some berries down towards his south side, so going to be coming out down here. Villagers have already finished up those outposts, so double outposts going to be able to support these villagers. And horsemen now going to turn their attention towards it. A little bit of a mistake there, but it's all right. He moves away very quickly. That wall on the south side's come up for Beastie as well. Horseman numbers starting to look good, and he's just going mass horseman at this point. And I think that this is something that a lot of people have theorized, that in the way that the meta is going to work at the moment with the changes to keeps and all that, the horsemen are just going to be so incredibly strong. You know, if you build up a big horseman mass, your enemy, they might build up a spear mass, but you don't ever have to engage it. You can just run away, you can do run-bys, all that good stuff, and it makes it really difficult for your enemy to have any kind of counter to that. Then you throw into account the fact that your enemy, or that you rather, can go to castle age, get that extra +1 ranged armor that you didn't have before, and now you're stacking up a total of 5 armor compared to where you were once only stacking up 4. In the event you get to Imperial, then you're talking about 7 armor instead of 5. It is a huge difference that really starts to begin to build. But now Beastie going to be moving out. Still plenty of horsemen out here. And you can see that behind this, just triple granary already coming up. Another change that's come through for the Chinese recently is that the cost of granaries has been reduced down from 250 down to 150. Now remember, a mill's going to cost you 50 anyway. So the true cost of the granary is about 100 wood. So you're paying 1 farm and what, 1 1/3 of a farm for your granary. That's essentially it. It obviously gives you that 10% bonus to gathering speed. That also stacks, so if you've got 3 granaries all next to each other like Beastie's got right now, these villagers are going to gather extra fast. You can combine that with your upgrades, including your wheelbarrow, as well as your horticulture, your fertilization, your precision crossbreeding, and you can start to get some really wild numbers on those granaries. One of the other things that you can look to do, which Beastie hasn't done here, is you can stick a granary out in the corner, like over here, double ring farms around it, and then supervise it. It's actually an incredibly effective way to have your granaries out. But obviously Beastie doesn't do that today. It's one of those sort of like, you know, the optimal ways to do it, but it's not necessarily something that's easy to do when it comes to these sorts of games that are happening on the fly. Horseman raid once again coming in. Beastie in a pretty decent position. I think he's now got the ability to be aggressive. Loses a lot of villagers down here. I didn't even see this. That was a loss of about 6 or 7 villas. We can count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 villagers down here that were collecting deer on the side of Kiljardi. But I think Beastie's in a pretty decent spot where he could think about aging up now. He's definitely got the aggression. He's got the mass. He's forcing his enemy towards his base. And we can see that the horsemen are running around. So where does Beastie go from here? Now, I know a lot of people would think, you know, you go from here, you go into lancers, or you go into knights. I would agree. I think from here, what you're probably looking to do as Beastie, drop down a whole bunch more stables as soon as you start thinking about that age up, and then from there, you're still mixing just full horsemen and knights. As soon as your enemy moves into spearmen, then that's an option or an opportunity for you to start thinking about siege, but the other alternative is that you just go Chokunu or archers. So it just makes it so easy to play this game, and I do suspect that with this change to horsemen, that it's highly likely that you are just going to see pretty much in every single matchup, players just opening with cavalry. I think the cavalry is just going to be almost the stock standard thing that you'll see, and that's what we've had today. We've had double cav opening here. Obviously, from the Abbasid dynasty, we did see this coming out quite a bit, but it was rare from China. Typically, with the Song dynasty, you would see, you know, spearmen as well as Chokunu, a very effective composition, even against the Abbasid dynasty in feudal age. But age up now coming through for Beastie. It's going to be the astronomical clock tower, so he's going to be looking to hit age 3 here. And I'm curious to see where he goes from here. It's going to be double stable that gets thrown down, so doing the right thing. Triple stable actually getting thrown down. So 100% the right thing. He's got to be careful, though, as we can see Kiljardi waiting in the winds, ready to go. Thinking about aging up himself. Not really. Not a lot of gold in the bank. But Kiljardi now going to begin applying pressure. We'll check in with Beastie and see how he's doing. It's going to be the veteran horseman upgrade, as well as some more horsemen in queue. So not thinking about knights just yet. Barbican firing off. Keep in mind, one of the other changes for the Barbican is that it can now get the springald emplacement. Not a lot of stone in the bank for Beastie, so he can't afford it, but it's going to come through shortly. He's looking to try and surround his enemy. Kiljardi going to be heading towards the back line, looking to try and interrupt those wood choppers. Indeed going to be able to do that. And now Beastie going to be forcing him away. Keep in mind, we've also got that... where is that veterancy? It's coming through shortly, but there's no Imperial official supervising. Beastie finds a little spot at the back of the base. Kiljardi going to be trying to defend. We see the Camel Archers just teeing off, but at the same time, Beastie going to get that veterancy upgrade now. And with that, all the stables just going to non-stop send out units down towards this position. And even though things don't look good for him, I think he's going to be absolutely fine, Beastie. And this entire time, not only has Beastie been sitting on 2 town centers, he's been sitting on Song Dynasty, which is the equivalent to 3 town centers. Kiljardi on the other side of the map on 1 town center as the Abbasid Dynasty. And as you guys will know, 3 is more than 1. Let's take a look at the villager counts right now. Beastie on 102 villagers, Kiljardi on 52. It is an absolutely huge difference, more than double, or not more than double, but about double the difference there. Now, you can see that we've got Beastie once again training out the Imperial officials from the Imperial Academy. So you lose your Imperial officials, you can simply rebuild them at the Imperial Academy. You don't have to waste time on your main town centers, losing 1.5 villages every single time you lose an Imperial official. It is just such a nice change for China. Makes them a lot, honestly, it just makes them a lot safer to play, I think, for newer players as well in having this, because it gives you a very guaranteed route that you've got. And as I mentioned in my patch preview video, that I think when it comes to China, that this is going to be the optimal way to play it, the way that Beastie's doing it. So you get the 1 Imperial official at the early stage in the game, and then you get the 3 Imperial officials after with that Imperial Academy. And then the question is going to be, you know, when do you do it? Do you do it before the Barbican? Do you do it after the Barbican? When do you do it? But Beastie going for a bit of some aggressive walls here in the middle. He's going to get found out. We see that Beastie also going for Yuan dynasty here. It's going to be an Imperial Palace that gets dropped down in the middle of the map. This is something we haven't seen before coming out from China. Something rare. Now, one of the things that happened in the last patch is that the Fire Lancer got buffed. Not only did its speed get buffed, but its attack speed also got buffed. So do we potentially see some Fire Lancers coming out today? Now, not only are the Fire Lancers going to be a big, important bonus here for the Yuan dynasty, but it's also going to be increasing the movement speed of his units. And keep in mind, he's got veteran horsemen, so that's going to go from 1.88 movement speed up to, I think, about 2.19. Let's double check. There's the Yuan dynasty. It is 2.16. I was close. 0.03 off. So now the Imperial Palace is up. That's going to give him a beautiful ring of line of sight in the center of the map, as you can see right there. He's also got this special ability called Imperial Spies, and he can locate enemy villages wherever they might be on the map for a short period of time, and he can then subsequently send his units over there and take them out, all that good stuff. But now we've got Fire Lancers in queue. So is this the new China? Is this the new China? We may be seeing it, right? Look at the stables that are coming out as well. I mean, this is what people theorize would happen, right? It's just going to be all about cavalry from here on in. Just with the recent changes that came in, the fact that people aren't going to be going for keeps, it's going to mean that cavalry is a lot stronger because of it. And we're now seeing that because the issue is that if you've got keeps, cavalry become a lot less effective. And the reason why cavalry has now become more effective is because siege is now more vulnerable to cavalry. There's just so many good things that Cav got in this recent update. And now Beastie going to be dropping down that monastery. Another change that happened in the most recent patch. Obviously, the monk got its train time reduced. So it used to be 45 seconds. It's now only 30 seconds. So he's going to be able to get some of those monks out on the field. Beastie looking good. Fire Lancers coming out. These guys don't have a lot of damage on that hit, on that first hit, but they do have that little charge that comes through, and if they land it, it's going to create that AoE around the target. So we'll look to see if Beastie's able to get that or pull that off. You can hear it right there, the firepower, or the gunpowder firing off. Numbers looking healthy for Beastie. Neither player yet to go into spears. This is where it can get dangerous. We actually saw a game that was very similar to this. We had double Cav going up against each other. I think it was an English mirror on Highview. We had double Cav. So Cav on one side, Cav on the other. And then one of our players made a secret tech switch with about, oh my lord, it must have been 5 or 6 barracks. Got the veterancy upgrade and just spammed out spearmen in this position and just pushed. And that was all she wrote. I mean, it can be tough to try and hold on, but one of the things to remember is that with the Fire Lancers, they've also got that ability to smash through the enemy, with their charge. But spearmen obviously do have the ability to brace. But now Beastie going to be trying to build up these walls. You can see how quickly they build as well as China. Down on that south side, it looks like more outposts trying to get up here. I don't know whether we've gotten placements coming through. It doesn't look like it just yet. He's going to spot those outposts and stop them before they even start. We actually see him taking Sacred Site, so he's going to be thinking about a Sacred Site victory. Look how high up we are right now. Look how small that monk looks. Man, I love this view. I've got to be real with you guys. It is beautiful. Having the ability to zoom out this far. Kill Jati. I mean, he's struggling at the moment. Oh my lord, I just saw the score. Take a look at the score right now. Beastie just miles ahead. Villager count at the moment for Kill Jati, 68. Almost a nice number. 125 for Beastie. He is looking happy. He's looking healthy. He's taking the gold in the middle. And that looks like, is that Imperial coming through for Beastie? I think that is, yeah, that's Imperial. Spirit Way coming down for him. He does have the ability to get the Elite Fire Lancer upgrade here at the Spirit Way. Gets it faster, gets it cheaper. We'll see if he does it, but now the big attack going to be coming down. You can see the horsemen as well as those Fire Lancers just going to be working to stab away at their enemy. Veteran horsemen have got that extra bit of ranged armor now. Actually, you know what? It's actually just, it's not even a plus bonus. They just get +3. You know what? It's with the veterancy. Otherwise, if it was the Imperial, that would just go to 4. Okay, so it makes sense. So it is associated here with the extra ranged armor is associated with the upgrade of the unit. Speaking of upgrades of the unit, though, Fire Lancers now coming through. Elite Fire Lancers, by the way. These guys are absolutely insane. Beastie looking incredible in this position. He's walled up the entire map. He's taken two of the 3 sacred sites. Third one yet to be captured, but shortly going to be taken, I would suspect. He's managed to do a decent job here just walling everything off. Doesn't it look beautiful? But you can see just how big those walls have got to be, right? Like, it's not as big as Dry Arabia, but I feel like it's probably a comparable size to, say, something like Highview. I would say it's pretty close to that. The walls are huge, though. These are not small walls. These are big bloody walls that are going down now. But Beastie looking good. Still just making only cavalry. Going into tight barns as well. He's got 2 relics in the bag. We did hear a 3rd one getting picked up. I'm not sure exactly where that is. Monk moving down to that south side. So I'm going to assume that he's on 3. Going to be on 4 relics shortly. That 5th relic over on that eastern side. Rather western side. Yet to be taken by either player. But that sacred site now coming in. That's going to be the 3rd sacred site. And we can see the villagers slowly but steadily building up that final stone wall piece. Going to be coming in. There she is. And with that, the timer is now set. Beastie going to be looking to take out his enemy. Sacred tracker. It tells us 2 out of 3. Will it give us a timer? Will it give us a timer? They said they did an update to it. Wonderful. You know what? I've never been good at counting. The fact that this tells me that 3 sacred sites have been taken, that is beautiful. That is absolutely wonderful. Now I know. But I don't actually know when the sacred site timer is going to be coming through. Beastie going to be pushing in here. Quite a score difference between these 2 guys. Fire Lancers getting their nunchucks out. Nunchucks out? I don't know why they got nunchucks out. 40 torch damage coming in. Also towards the north, we see the veteran spearmen breaking off. Fire Lancers just focusing down that town center. Keep in mind, we are up against an Abbasid player here today as the Chinese on Beastie. So he's just going to be sieging down that first landmark. Second landmark coming up next. It's going to be that House of Wisdom. And to me, it looks like this is almost a certain good game right here. Beastie looking incredible. He's also going to be deleting a Fire Lancer. Look at that. He deletes the Fire Lancer to get the global heal and the attack speed boost on his Fire Lancer so that he can siege down faster. This is the new China. This is beautiful. You just got to love it right now. It is absolutely gorgeous. Take a look at that. That is beautiful. And I gotta be real with you guys. I might have been wrong on the new China. We'll have to wait. We'll have to see how it plays out. But at this point in time, I mean, the new China, it looks pretty quick. The fact that Beastie held 2 Town Center Song Dynasty against 1 TC all-in from the Abbasid, I'm impressed. I'm really impressed. Fellas, what do you think about this new update? I gotta be honest with you guys. I'm loving it. It's looking real good. I'll catch you guys in the next one.